Okay, we're slowly reaching the end of our event. I'm going to ask Pierre to answer the question everyone's been asking, which is how can we actually get involved with EBSI? So Pierre, please, you have the floor. A much anticipated segment. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Maxine, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank all the panelists for further comment about EBSI and what they have seen today, but also the very good perspectives that they have opened and the good suggestions that they have made. I mean, we know some of them, but it was good that they insist, and I will try to provide a first answer, but it will be just a first answer because that's EBSI is a long journey, and it is a project that is still in its early phases. We'll have to adapt for different things, and what we will aim to do is to adapt in order to involve more and more contributors to this project, more and more users, but also more and more contributors, which was one of the strong comments made by various panelists of today. Take also the opportunity to have a special thought for Mark, with very soon leaving his role of within the INATBA, and who have made a fantastic job during the past 2 years in a period which was not easy. So many thanks, Mark, for all what you have done and for your comment of today. I have also a thought for all the other panelists, but I wanted to praise your this very good relationship that we have with INATBA, and a lot of thanks for your role in this. By the way, INATBA is not only an organization representing industry players. INATBA has also a group for, let's say, public authorities coming from different regions of the world, and all those public authorities have the same ambition and the same concern to make best use of blockchain in order to support the exchange of verifiable credentials. And what is good that in the discussion that are organized by INATBA under the chairmanship of Canada, and is that we see that we are quite advanced within the EBSI, and the demonstration that we have seen today just for the area of education have contributed to that. And our ambition is that we stay in the lead for those exchange of verifiable credentials within the EBSI, and that we can help, let's say, the different contributors and players in Europe to also be in the lead. So the next slide is a good illustration about the potential of EBSI for a verifiable credential. I think the message coming from today are clear. There is something great with those credentials, but also the fact that the use of blockchain can really help for their implementation in a way where we enhance privacy aspect, and where we have better control of the data or the type of information which are shared by the citizen, by the individual, when they have to enjoy services, and they have to provide some information to enjoy those services, but not more than that. So I don't want to go through the list of all the prospects that we have with the EBSI, but you will see that for many of them, it's not just about public administration or public authorities to be in the lead, but it's a mix of public and private actors that could intervene in those different applications. So it makes echo very much about what has been said by the panelists about the fact that EBSI gradually could become not only an infrastructure that serve for public cross-border services, but also that serve for other type of services. And in a way or the other, this is what we are already doing today. You have seen in the education area that, of course, it concerns public bodies like universities that issue a credential, but it concerns also, let's say, the verifier, where it could be a company or an SME in particular, that will see its life simplified by using what we propose through the EBSI. It's also as a kind of contributor, we have insisted on the role of the wallet provider. So we see already that in our ecosystem, we attract private players to provide also for those wallets. So EBSI is already an initiative which involves private actors, not only public authorities, and of course this is something that we want to reinforce in the coming step. So the message was clear from the panelists, and it confirmed what we want to do. Now, as usual, there is a lot of things for which we have a clear vision, but it's the implementation steps that could be challenging. Next slide. Just to recap about what has been said, that EBSI is already involved in different type of players, students, businesses to exchange credentials, businesses to verify that those credentials are valid one, to simplify the process. And when we heard, for instance, Koen and other panelists like Sebastiano, who make a reference to the need to not only apply this type of approach for formal education, but also for lifelong learning, training and education, we see also potential to involve gradually more and more private players in our ecosystem. EBSI, of course, is important for a policymaker who may have to decide about how to organize their public services, or how they could leverage on existing solution and on EBSI in particular in order to facilitate the implementation of their policy. We have more and more ambition about tracking and tracing product, about proving the authenticity of document or of information and the integrity of those information, to pay attention about the fact that things can be implemented in a fully compliant way with the data protection regulation. So, of course, policy players remain at the core of our, let's say, target audiences. But we have different type of organizations, in particular the wallet providers. That in the EBSI today we see different type of players. We see startup, which is more established company, and we are very happy that they can contribute at different level to what we want to implement in the EBSI, and that through the EBSI we also anticipate a little bit what could be provided in future step with EU ID regulation, and in particular with the EU ID wallet. So node operators also, we need some specific actors within the EBSI ecosystem in order to implement this engine to validate transaction and to provide let's say more trust through a distributed ledger, and what we aim to deliver in terms of qualified trust services for electronic ledger, as introduced also by the EU ID regulation. An important thing that we have to consider for engaging with more and more stakeholders in future step is that those contributors can come with different level of readiness. I mean, and here the cycle that we have for the different application, different use case that we want to support. That first, I have to be in line with the priorities decided by the European Blockchain Partnership. Then, of course, there is a development phase. For some of those priority of the EBP, we could also envisage that we have already solution where what matters is really to demonstrate that we can pilot those solutions in the context of the EBSI. And then we have, of course, the challenge to really scale it up and to make it bold, as it was remarked by Mark, in order to, let's say, really make EBSI as something very helpful for the largest constituencies and communities that could both provide solution but also exploit and use those services, and the fact that we reinforce trust in the delivery of services all across Europe. So the next slide will be a bit more prosaic about what are the actions that we have now. So we have already now the Digital Europe program, which is a new program which was launched by the European Commission in 2021. with a dedicated call for proposal for the EBSI initiative. So it has three main or let's say four main objectives for what concerns the EBSI. The first one is to reinforce the EBSI network of nodes and to have a different node in all the EBP countries that could participate to the validation of transaction, but we like also to be able to have other type of node which will enable to test different protocol, different solution, a kind of testing lab, European testing lab in real settings that we could implement, that will always help us not only to implement solution in production and in pre-production, but also to prepare for future ground and to see when we have new solution or even protocol, or we could imagine different type of approach, a modular one or a truly new one for new type of use case that could be implemented through the EBSI. So that is the first part of the call for proposal concerning the EBSI. The second one is indeed to work on what has been already addressed today, the verifiable credential, in particular in the education area, but to start to apply this model to other type of area like social security pass, but really with the ambition to scale up the initiative. And the objective is to have a few or one very large project that will enable us to demultiply the support that we can provide to new users and new stakeholders. So to have an enlarged group of university or key players, wallet providers, not only to implement the solution for themselves, but also to help other players to implement and to adopt this solution. We have one part, third part, which will concern other use cases which have been identified by the blockchain partnership as a priority and that have been let's say less addressed over the recent period. So it's an opportunity to reboost our pilot for those use cases. And finally, a point which is not exclusively related to EBSI, but which is to support blockchain standardization, creating and reinforcing the link between standardization and the EBSI initiative, but also to support the presence of European experts in different standardization body, which are very important in order to facilitate the uptake of those technology and also to ensure that Europe continue to play a leading role in those technology in the near future. So that's for the EBSI as part of the call for proposal. It's not present on this slide, but we have also we aim also to contribute to another topic under the call for proposal, which is about the EU DI wallet and its toolbox. As said by Andrea, we expect, I mean, this regulation on EU DI, on EU ID is technology neutral. So one way is to demonstrate that EBSI can play a specific role, in particular to exploit the EU DI wallet, to be sure that the high-level specifications, the APIs, the different architecture documents that are now elaborated for EU DI can be adapted and used also in the context of EBSI. But it should help also to demonstrate that EBSI can be used as part of the trust model, in particular to provide for trusted services concerning electronic ledger and what matters for to be qualified trusted services in this context. So we have, of course, one call dedicated to EBSI, but we have also some expectation that project relying on blockchain can contribute to the EU DI wallet and its toolbox as part of the Digital Europe program, for which the call is open this year. We'll launch a new phase of the early adopter program, and the input that we have received today are very useful in order for us to rethink about it and to find the best way to engage with as many stakeholders as possible for addressing different priorities that we consider relevant at this stage of the project. But we have to, of course, to make it in a way which is organized enough in order to for us to be able to take the best of this engagement from a wider community. So for sure, we will support the work leveraging on the verifiable credentials that have been addressed today, in particular in the education area. For sure, we plan also to develop specific initiatives that will concern not only the document traceability. We want, of course, to take the opportunity to reinforce the work done with wallet provider and to go for more portability, interoperability, but also to complement the different requirements that we have for such a wallet provider, and also to help to align with the EUDI wallet initiative. Today, it's a good illustration about how we can reinforce also our communication campaign with the objective always to enlarge the EBSI community. So we will continue along this line with more webinar, with more the newsletter, all what has been said already by Maxine. But it's important that we can leverage on some event like the one of today in order to get directly your feedback, but also to ensure that we aggregate more and more interest on this initiative. And finally, for this slide, but last but not least, I would say we have a new initiative that will start before the end of the year, which is the EU Regulatory Sandbox, which will concern EBSI and related use case or application based on EBSI, but also other type of blockchain project. So which is also a way to engage with other type of stakeholders. And here, as it was remarked by the different panelists, I mean, the regulation is always subject to different interpretations. The regulation still requires some clarification. It could be also important in order to avoid to have to regulate in a way which is not open enough to be able for the regulator to understand better what are the type of services or solutions which are proposed by innovators. So we are going to select a contract. The call for tender has just closed yesterday, and we will select one contractor in order to play a role of facilitators in view to facilitate the interaction between some projects that we can select or identify at EU level, including the EBSI, but not exclusively related to the EBSI, and to make the link with different regulators that are active in the different member states, but also at the EU level through, for instance, the supervisory authorities in the financial sector. So that's this is not truly exhaustive, but that's the main axis that we plan to exploit in order to enlarge the community of EBSI contributors and users. In terms of timeline, next slide. So I focus here mainly on the Digital Europe program and the early adopter phase. I mean, for the call for proposal, which is open for the Digital Europe program, it has been open since the 22nd of February. It was initially foreseen to close in May, but it has been decided to extend the call like the one for EUID and other one till the 17th of August. So we know that there are very good projects which are under preparation. We don't know all the details. We don't know about all of them. There is always room for other projects to come. So we plan to organize another info day. We did one by the end of March. So probably it will be good to make another one before the end of June. We have not yet fixed a date for that, but we'll keep you informed through the different newsletter and the communication done through the EBSI. What is important is to note that after the 17th of August, there will be a process to evaluate the different proposals, to negotiate the different grant agreement, and the project will start only in early 2023, which means that meanwhile, it's important not to count only on this Digital Europe program to extend the EBSI community or to continue to work on the different application that we have piloted so far. So in order to address it and also to meet the demand which have been clearly expressed today, but which are regularly expressed by different stakeholders, we'll launch a new phase of the early adopter program. And for that, we plan to organize a call for expression of interest to help us to organize the things, to see how we could organize a team and allocate probably some resources in order to facilitate this engagement. But before the end of June, we'll organize this call for expression of interest. We have not fixed a date here yet. Sorry, it's a bit on purpose because we wanted to take the opportunity of the demo day of today to get your feedback, to get your view. But I think it has been extremely helpful for us, and we'll of course take this into account for the launch of this new phase of the early adopter program. I mean, to be realistic, this call for expression of interest will be launched in June, but the work, the real kickoff of the next phase of the early adopter program is planned for September this year. And you'll see that it will be a very important phase to wait and to anticipate for the new support coming from the project that will be supported through the Digital Europe program. I could extend the explanation, the discussion, but I think it's already long enough, and I would like simply to thank you for your feedback and the very good comment that we have seen through the Slido, but also through the chat box. And with that, I'm happy to give the floor to Perrine, which will represent, let's say, the co-chairs, the European Blockchain Partnership co-chairs, in order to make some concluding remark. Perrine, up to you. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Pierre. And on behalf of the European Blockchain Partnership state members, I would like to thank you all, and together with Jan Kessler from the Czech Republic and David Magar for Sweden, all participants, the speakers, the panelists, the demonstrators, and the organizers of the day, and the technical support, of course. And you know, there are hundreds of other people who have worked and didn't come today. And this is, for example, as far I'm concerned, it's a lot of people, civil servants, French civil servants, who have worked a lot on digitization of the public service of diploma within the University of Lille, and who have achieved this and make it visible already for 20,000 students, alumni. And we have already very good feedbacks, and this is typically what Kim Hamilton Duffy and the Digital Credential Consortium, together with the W3C, intended to do: reinvent the diploma object and any educational credential. And this is really very nice to see it happen. And actually, it seems sometimes very slow, but it has become already a reality, and very, very soon with EBSI now almost in production. And a last word on education. I am part of the board, I am member of the board of Open Education Global, and this is typically everything what Mark Taverner said about giving a better place to education and lifelong learning, because this is really what we all need. And this is also supported by the UNESCO, a better and more equal access to quality open educational resources. And the fact that we can get certified despite it is distributed and we take in the open library some educational content is really interesting. So you have seen that EBSI is becoming a reality. We have been able to showcase how EBSI can underpin the exchange of verifiable credentials, and it leverage the use of individual wallets in this educational area. But it is also, I mean, a diploma is an official certificate. And this is why it's not only about education, it's about digitization of public service and making a document authenticate. It has been already simplified as far as we are concerned. A lot of people come to us and inquire and ask how to do it. Of course, some hackathon will be necessary, but there are already many events where we all disseminate, and it raises the interest, despite it's still a lot of work to do. I'm very happy that this governmental partnership has allowed to work on this use case and to work together. You have seen 18 universities from 15 countries working together for this demo day. It has been a very hard work, but this is so useful to people, and not only our youth, European youth, but also in other countries. Like my first witness is a student from Djibouti who received its digital certificate, and it's practically changed his life because he has to send so many resumes, and now this is made much more simple with this new art of diploma. So last but not least, because it's so late, I want to say also that the EBSI and the European Blockchain Partnership has a very specific governance model. It does not aim to disrupt the current organization of service at national level, but to make them more efficient and trustful. And when we speak about a large update of the verifiable credential model, we will ensure that there are other types of use cases that are implemented. So thank you. Thank you all. You have heard already a lot. I don't think there is much more to say. Thank you, Pierre, and all.
Thank you so much, Perrine, Pierre, and everyone else who spoke before. We have reached the end of our event. So if actually, can we go back a couple of slides, because I just want to alert people to the ways to contact us. So one more. Yes. So regarding the call for proposals that Pierre mentioned, just wanted to let you know we posted a link in the chat so that you can find more information about this call for proposals for those of you who might be interested in applying. And for all of you who have unanswered questions, who want to contribute ideas, several avenues are available to you. But one of them, especially for unanswered questions, is eubsi@ec.europa.eu, and you can always check our website. So now we can move forward to what we were our last interactive moment of the day. For those of us who are still with us, it's been a very long day. I want to just check in with you and see how you're feeling. So let's just all go to Slido one last time. I promise it will be an easy question. I will let Louisa share. So in one word, how would you describe what you saw here today, your experience at the demo day? And please just shoot from the hip. We want to know. It appears the voting's closed. Thank you. All right, you guys can go now. So you can join the Slido by either scanning the QR code or joining the website slido.com and entering the code on the left. Thanks. Yes, it's been a lot of work to get here. And obviously, it's been the work of a lot of people, both within the European Commission and also from the member countries of the European Blockchain Partnership. So we are humbled by your encouraging words. And certainly, it's bolstering us to continue working hard. These are really good words. Fantastic. Awesome. Excellent. Let's see if we see anything here that is a little unusual. But look, I mean, thank you so much for all these positive feelings. I think I speak on behalf of the entire team when I say that for us, it's been a real privilege to be able to finally share the outcome of 2 years worth of hard labor to get us to today, where we're able to actually show and demonstrate real verifiable credentials exchange and give you a perspective and insight into what the future might look like for European citizens trying to move across borders. So we're going to close this Slido now because I think we're all tired. Thanks so much for all of your feedback. And I just wanted to close our day with, as usual, a little plug. Please, aside from the fact that you registered for today's event, so we will be in touch with you probably in a few days with the material that was presented here today, the recording, and some type up of the main insights. If you subscribe to our newsletter when you registered for the event, obviously you will be receiving that one. It is published twice monthly. And finally, you can keep following us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and if obviously check our website, ebsi.eu. This is where all of the information regarding future pilots for the early adopter program will be posted. And obviously, we'll also do so in our newsletter. So if you are interested, please subscribe. Regarding reaching out to us, you can do so on eu-ebsi@ec.europa.eu, and we will try to get back to you within a short delay. So with all that said, it's been a big day. I think it's time to end it, as all good things must come to an end. Thanks to all of our speakers, to all of our panelists, and most importantly, to all of the groups that demonstrated today and who did such amazing hard work, especially of the last few weeks, to deliver you with such great presentations. We hope to be in touch with all of you in the future. And yes, more coming soon. Thanks and goodbye.